Hi, everybody. I'm Oren. I'm with Vermont Violins, and I'm joined today by Jon and Ari from the Jon Paul Bow making company out of Salt Lake City, and they make an amazing line of both Pernambuco and carbon fiber bows right here in America in Salt Lake City. And we're going to talk to. They're going to tell us a little bit about their bows. But first, I thought maybe you could just tell me a little bit, Jon. How did you get into this? Why are you?
Sure.
Why are you a bow maker?
I started making and studying violins with my father, and then I got into on the bow bench. He asked me to help him out rehairing bows, and as I got into that, I realized that's when my love for bows began. And so I started there, and he said, "Well, if you really like bows, I know a guy in France." So I was able to get an apprenticeship over in France, and that's where I learned to make bows.
That's amazing. And your family has deep roots in violin making and
Yes.
playing. Is that right?
Correct. My father studied violin making at the Mittenwald school back in the 50s.
All right.
And when he graduated, he immigrated to the U.S. and started the violin making school in Salt Lake City.
That's right. We've recruited a lot of students from that school. So
It's been going strong.
Very much in his debt to that. That's great. And Ari, are you also involved in this?
Oh, well, I am actually in the steps of learning to make bows myself. Yeah.
That's great.
I have family who has gone off and done the violin making and everything like that. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to do the bow side.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's great. Well, we're glad to have you here in Vermont. So
Same.
a little bit of a change from Salt Lake.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about your bows. We've been carrying your bows for years, and some of your bows are integral to our rental program for a lot of advancing students, and they're amazing alternatives to Pernambuco, which, as everyone knows, is endangered and having more and more difficulties. So we love your carbon fiber line. That's where we've been living. And tell us a little bit about why do we like them so much? What is the magic here?
Sure. Well, I'll start, and then you can tell me what I miss here. But our bows are different in a couple ways. Is that from the very beginning when we designed it, we wanted to make sure that the stick was one contiguous piece, so that there was no break here up at the head. And that was really important because where there's a break or a seam, that's where glues and other materials are put in that stop the vibrations of the bow.
And I've seen that on some bows, carbon fiber, where you see that little faint line. It almost looks like it's been broken and corrected. And certainly that catches the eyes of customers, not in a good way.
It's that way, and it's because there's so much vibration, there's so much movement.
Yeah.
You know, the bow is constantly moving. It's going to accentuate that seam.
Yeah.
And so we said we can't have that. We have to have the player to be able to feel the bow all the way to the tip, just like a wood bow.
And does that make the head stronger as well?
Correct. It's gonna make that able to withstand the years and years of playing.
Even the little beak at the tip?
Well, what we did there is we molded the silver tip. It's molded into the head. It's not a glued on afterwards. And so what that does is it allows it to take a lot of abuse.
Yeah.
Before it will come off.
I noticed it's a silver plate.
Correct.
Cool.
Correct. And the other aspects of, if you ever notice why our bows are always so smooth,
Yeah, they are.
on the button, is because normally on a wood bow, the button will rest on the nipple on the very end, and that's where it binds.
Yeah.
Ours have a sleeve that is put inside, and so the tip of the screw here rests on and turns on a very, very thin point of metal on the inside, so it's always smooth, always straight.
That's amazing. That's great.
One of the things. And then finally, tell them about the finish.
Oh, yes. The finish is actually, we call it our Burgundy Finish, of course, but the finish is actually part of the resin of the bow itself. So that finish goes right down to the core of the bow. So if there's any scratching or anything like that, you can polish it right out. But not only just that, but also the construction of the bow itself. For instance, this one is our Carrera bow with the white horn. I think it's a very pretty bow, personally. That being said, though, it has a different kind of material that's woven throughout the bow to make sure that the sound of the bow and the vibrations are very, very similar to wood. The last thing we wanted to do was to replicate the, I'll be frank, the very, very bright, very, very powerful sound of carbon fiber, but the very two-dimensional sound of carbon fiber. It's very piercing and it's kind of just flat. Whereas with ours, because of the slower vibrations, because of that woven and different material put in, helps slow it down, help bring another dimension of sound.
So this is a really carefully orchestrated, bad word.
Nice fun. I love
Yeah,
it.
right. But this is really carefully
Absolutely.
crafted formula that you must use for the different fibers that constitute so it's not just a pure carbon fiber, it's a composite that you guys have
Correct.
created and formulated just for this purpose. Yeah,
Exactly.
that's amazing. So what's the difference between you have two lines, correct? You have your import and you have your
Correct.
Salt Lake City bows.
That's
Well,
true.
what we did as well with the import carbon fibers, we wanted to make sure that they were bows again that were always the player in mind, sound in mind, and that's why we did the fusion. And this is a more common bow. You see these,
The fusion is very popular.
Yeah,
you
it's-
love it.
and I like it because it kind of is the same principle as the ones that we make. Meaning, they took a carbon fiber bow, wrapped it in a wood veneer, which slows the vibrations down and allows it to have a better sound than just a pure carbon fiber.
Right, and the fusion has that wrap that's really pretty. So it has
That's
like
right.
a wooden
A
wrap.
wood, and so, yeah, and then so you can go into the more traditional areas and not be. And then the matrix is the same philosophy of a woven carbon, and you can see it if you look into it. That garnet red, we call it here, is the resin, and it's a little brighter of a sound, but that's what we found as well too. Some people. The bow matches to the violin player and the violin, and
great.
sometimes this is a better fit.
Yep.
So
And the import bows are super affordable. They're
Yeah.
all under $500
Correct.
easily, and
Correct.
well under $500 generally. So those are great affordable next step bows for people who are just getting out of their beginner bow and looking for something a little more powerful.
precisely.
But your import bows, which are also very reasonable, they start under 1,000.
Yeah.
And we use the Corona a lot. That's our staple for some of our higher end rentals.
Yeah.
But that's how do they differentiate? Why are they better than the import bows?
One, I think we have a little more the recipe, shall we say it?
Yeah.
The formula of laying it up is so much more complex. Like I say, it's not it's not just a pure carbon fiber, and you'll feel that and you'll hear it. That's why I think that's why you like the Corona. It's just a higher level. It's next level.
That's great.
We'll just call it that.
Yeah, and then they go right on up to your Vena, which is the really professional bow.
Correct.
Yeah. So these are wonderful bows, and we love having them. We're really glad you could come to Vermont to show it to us.
Oh, we're glad to be here. Thank you.
All right.
Thanks so much.
Thank you for having us.
You're very welcome. Thank you so much. Keep making bows.
We will.